This is the FootBrawl podcast with your hosts, Tyler, Andy, and Boyer.
Welcome into the Performance Enhancing Dads podcast, where if you can't satisfy your spouse, at least we can satisfy your fantasy, or at least your fantasy football needs.
Personal problems, Ty?
Either way, we got some fantasy around here. Let's jump into week one matchups. We're going to cover some start-sit decisions and predict the winners for week one. The first matchup is Andy versus Collin. The big start-sit decision would be Andy could play Hunt or Javonte in that RB2 spot. He could play one in the flex. Does he play Hockenson in the flex since he has him and Kelsey? What do you guys think? Boyer, let's start with you since what are you going to do with this situation?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like Hunt versus Javonte, I'm probably choosing Hunt's just because I don't know where Javonte is going to land as far as total touches. Me and Andy currently have a bet with no repercussions, but we have a bet with Javonte under, I think it's under over 9.5 carries.
9.5, because I said I think he's going to get 10 to 12 and you disagreed. So we set it at 9.5.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up with the 10 to 12. My thought is as a fantasy owner, is that something you can rely on? And I think the answer is no. You can rely on Hunt getting some sort of work that I think will be beneficial to the team. So I would go with Hunt personally. He currently has Hunt in his roster. So I think week one, that's probably a smart choice. If he gets 10 to 12, then you can feel pretty confident in week two about starting Javonte from there on out. But week one, we don't really know. So I'm going to go with Hunt.
Agreed. And Hockenson in the flex week one, I think is a solid play. He should get the volume. The Lions are going to be playing from behind against the Niners. Should be fairly productive, I would imagine. Andy, I'm assuming you're leaning Hunt and Hockenson at this point.
Yep. I think that Browns Chiefs game is going to be a shootout. So I just want to make sure that I lock in as much running back production between Chubb and Hunt as I can. So I'm starting both of them this week. I'll be starting Chubb every week, obviously, but I don't think that I will be playing Javonte this week. If there comes good news that he's getting the start or something, I might be tempted to start him over Hockenson in my flex, but I probably won't. I'll probably just give it a week and see what his volume looks like, what his goal line touches look like, those kinds of things. But I expect to be starting him in the very near future.
Okay. And then jumping to Collin's team real quick. Hypothetically, Brandon Ayuk just came back from a hamstring issue. If Ayuk were to miss time, who would you start? Would you play Waddle in the flex? Would you play Marquise Hollywood Brown?
There's only options because he's got Ty Johnson for the Jets. I don't think you're playing him. Fuller's suspended, and then he's got Burrow in the Washington defense. So I think unless he wants to go pick somebody up, he's probably playing Ayuk, who's a stud flex most weeks, but off the injury, who knows? My main concern with Ayuk against the Lions is that they're probably going to be winning and running the ball quite a bit. So there's probably not going to be a ton of volume there for him, but looking at his other options, I don't think Collin feels like he needs the Hail Mary of a Hollywood Brown, going for the hoping you get the 102 yard, the 100-yard 2-touchdown game out of him that he can sometimes do. Cause if you're wrong, then you get the 10 yards and that's all it is.
Right.
And then Waddle, who knows? Patriots defense is decent. He's a rookie receiver with a not fantastic quarterback, so I'm not tempted to start him week 1, and I don't think Collin will be either.
Yeah. So, all right. With that, I'm going to take Collin for the win this week. He does have a lot of upside play with those running backs, with those wideouts. I think Collin's just got a little more firepower. Andy, will jump to you at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with Boyer, but I like my team this week. I think that the Chiefs-Browns shootout that I'm predicting is going to carry me between Chubb, Hunt, and Kelsey. So I am going to go with me. I've got some concerns about Herbert against the Washington defense, but I think that I'll be okay. Boy, are you
Fair
there?
enough. We'll keep moving. We'll move on to me and Jeremy. We will get Boyer's picks momentarily.
Yep, we'll get it when he comes back. All right, so Jeremy's got a lot of options to choose from this week, so I'm going to try to highlight just the one that I think is the most interesting, and that being Darrell Henderson against the Bears' run defense, which is not great, or Allen Robinson against the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, who is great, covering him all game. Right now, he's got Allen Robinson in at the flex. I'm tempted to put Henderson in there, even though Sony Michel could be taking some work off his plate. Ty, what do you think?
I think Henderson, the safest bet for Henderson is week 1 because Sony is coming in late in preseason, does not know the playbook 100%, and he may or may not even see the field this week. I imagine he sees some game time, but I would imagine Henderson gets 80% of the touches in that backfield at least week 1.
Great
So
call.
I think Henderson is the clear starter week 1. Could you move Allen Robinson up over Godwin? I don't think so because Godwin has Dallas. Possibly projected storms there right now. Could have Godwin has so many other weapons there. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? But I project that to be a shootout. So I think you keep Godwin there and bench Robinson. As much as Robinson is a volume monster, I think Henderson's your best play here.
Yep, I agree. Ty, who you think's coming out? Oh no, I guess we've got another lineup decision here. Ty, you've got some choices here. Higgins or Swift in your flex. I think we just got good news today that Swift is going to be starting week 1. He has been questionable up until today. So any concerns with starting him, or you feel good about that?
Oh, of course I've got concerns.
Your whole team does, but this
right,
specifically.
Exactly. And against the Niners defense, the Niners defense is always tough against the run. But Swift can catch the ball, can play out of the backfield in different aspects. But I am worried coming off the injury a little bit, whether or not Dan Campbell will give him the full workload, or even a 60-40 split. It may be closer to 50-50. Swift may actually be on the low end this week working him in if they are losing and Campbell says, hey, we're not going to come back in this game. Let's just let Williams take the beating, save Swift for week 2. So it does make me nervous. And Higgins may be my start against Minnesota. Minnesota's defense isn't great. It's okay. Not a great defense. Cincinnati, I don't think Jamar Chase is going to be the full-blown number 1 this first week. Higgins should be the guy. Maybe moving further into the season, you see Higgins start to drop off if Chase starts to pull up a little bit. I know some people are saying Boyd could take more targets because of the way Chase is going to take away from Higgins. But early in the season, Higgins should be the number 1, and in my predictions is the number 1 for at least the first handful of weeks. So he would very well possibly slide into my flex here as the week goes on. We'll have to kind of play that by ear as it gets closer.
Yep,
So.
that's fair. I like the Higgins matchup against Minnesota, especially if the Vikings take an early lead there, then Burrow's going to have to be throwing, so that could be good news for Higgins. But you've got good options. Even if you're wrong, you still got a stud in there, so that's a good problem to have.
Right. Welcome back, Tyler Boyer.
Thanks.
And Baby Boyer. Hi, Penny.
Oh, look at that.
Adorable.
Casper
Really
Kieran.
driving home the dad's aspect of the channel. I like it.
Got to start on podcast number 1.
Boyer, are you equipped to walk through the choices? And oh no, sorry. This is why I let Ty host the show. Andy and Collin, Boyer, who do you think is going to win that one?
Hold on, let me look. I'm going with Collin. I think week one depth isn't an issue for him. He's got a lot for running backs and wide receivers. I think he'll do it.
Cool. All right, now Jeremy and Tyler. Ty, who you got in this one?
I'm taking myself to win this one.
Fair. Boyer?
I'll go with Jeremy.
All right. I am going to lean towards Ty. Sorry, Jay.
Jeremy's got a good team this year, and he still can't get us to pick him to win.
He plays a better team. Championship matchup week 1, baby.
All right, Boyer. Chris and Walker's lineup decisions is on you.
That means I have to be able to pay attention a little bit here.
You got the set notes up, or you want us to jump around?
I have them. So Chris, he's coming in with a decision between Corey Davis over Melvin Gordon. Ty, what do you think about that?
I think I'm starting the running back because like we talked about with the Javonte Williams, I just don't know that Williams is going to get enough touches, get enough volume. I think Gordon is going to be the go-to early on. Although Corey Davis will be the target hog for the time being in New York. I like Corey Davis. I'm just not sure we could possibly start him over Melvin Gordon week 1.
Yep. I think that Corey Davis is a good play this week, but looking at the matchup, Chris is playing Walker, and we are all pretty down on Walker's team. So I think just maintaining a high floor, making sure that you get the 6 or 7 points out of Melvin Gordon, especially if there's going to be running the ball, killing the clock against the Giants late in the game. There's going to be just garbage rushes for 2 and 3, 0.2 of a point, 0.3 of a point here and there. Just make sure you don't give back some of the advantage you have in this matchup by starting Corey Davis and getting a 20-yard performance. I don't think you have that concern with Melvin Gordon, so that's the way I lean. You want to lock in that floor and maintain the advantage you have over Walker.
Yeah, the back half of the year, the Giants defense were actually pretty good, and we don't really know what the Jets are going to be. So there's a lot of unknown with Corey Davis. I think in week 8, this decision would be different. But in week 1, it's Melvin Gordon. So looking at Walker's start sit options, he's got a few of them, and we talked about a few of them. He's got Baby Chark, he's got Fournette, and he's got Antonio Brown. Looking at this myself, I'd go with Antonio Brown. I think that he proved himself over the course of the last half of the last year. It could go. The problem with the Buccaneers is that there's going to be so many mouths to feed that Antonio Brown could end up having a bad game at any point in time, but he also could have a really good game. It just kind of depends on where the game plan goes. So I'm going to go with Antonio Brown here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Walker needs to reach for that upside. I don't think Fournette is it. He could be, but I don't think that's where I'm putting my money. So it's between Brown and Chark for me. And we just don't know enough about the Jaguars receivers, who Lawrence's favorite is. We don't know enough about Trevor Lawrence at this point. Maybe Chark has a big game, but if I was going to put my money on somebody to get you 80 yards and a touchdown, or 120 yards or 120 yards and a touchdown, which is what Walker's going to need out of this guy, I would be picking Antonio Brown. So that's the way I got to go.
So week 1, I'm actually with Jacksonville playing Houston. I would actually probably lean upside of Chark. I know he's coming off a finger injury, but that doesn't necessarily concern me. If Chark plays, I may lean that way. Houston is a god-awful defense. Assuming Trevor Lawrence is just going to throw the ball, I mean, James Robinson is there. They may just rely on him week 1. And that's the other hard part, right? Trevor Lawrence being a rookie quarterback, a lot of teams like to run the ball a lot week 1 with a rookie quarterback, ease them in. If they do just unleash Trevor Lawrence, let him throw the ball, Laviska or DJ Chark could have just a monster game against a bad Houston defense.
They've got Marvin Jones too.
That's true.
So not that takes away Chark's upside, but it's another trio that we just don't know how it's going to shake out.
Right.
Marvin Jones has been known to have 100 yards and like 3 touchdowns in random games.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones was wide receiver 15 last year in our playing format of non-PPR. So I don't think that he comes anywhere close to that this year on the Jaguars, but it's worth noting that the talent's there. So.
Yep. I wanted to make an argument for Chark. I like Chark. Talked about it in the last episode. And I think he could have upside, especially against Houston. Just a good matchup. See how it plays.
So, Ty, who do you got winning this one? Chris or Walker?
Well, due to the fact I have Walker winning 1 game all year.
And this is it.
This is not it. He will not win week 1. He will win later on in the season. I believe right now I have him slated to win week 5. So if you're playing Walker week 5, you suck.
Is that me? I feel like that's me.
I don't know.
You guys make picks.
Anyway, I have him losing.
It's you, Boyer.
It's Chris this week for sure.
Yeah, I got Chris too. This one I feel like is a slam dunk. Sorry, Walker.
All right, somebody else talk.
Yeah, deal. My turn. All right, so we're going to jump to the duo versus Friar. The duo is looking at Cortland Sutton or Juju Smith-Schuster at the flex. I guess you could look at Rondale Moore if you trust a rookie in Arizona. You could look at Zach Moss if you trusted that against the Pittsburgh defense. So I think for the most part, we're looking Juju Smith-Schuster versus Cortland Sutton. Andy, where are you going with that?
None of the above. I'm going with Tevin Coleman. I think Tevin Coleman is your starting running back week 1 for the Jets. I like the matchup with the Falcons. I don't think that they're going to start Tevin Coleman in the flex. But I want to see it out of Sutton for a game. I want to see where the target share shakes out between Fant and Judy and Sutton. So I'm going to hold off and wait and see with him. So if it was my team, I would be very tempted to play Tevin Coleman in week 1.
Tevin Coleman plays Carolina, not the Falcons. So just so you're aware.
I'm looking at week 5 because I went to look on Pete Boyer's matchup. That's what happened.
So Tevin
Carolina's defense isn't any good either. So still Tevin Coleman. Thanks for keeping me honest there.
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page here.
We weren't, but I stand behind my pick.
All right, Boyer, are you available to talk about this, or you want me to go? There you are.
Yeah. So between the 2 players that you positioned here, Juju or Sutton, I'm not sold on Tevin Coleman, but I get Andy's argument. I think I'm going to go with Juju. We've talked about floor versus ceiling, and I think Juju has the floor. Sutton is coming off his ACL tear. There's been reports that he's looked okay, but he's not 100%. I think he'll 100% play, The question is, will he have the big play capacity that he did during his breakout season 2 years ago? And I'm not going to bank on that week 1, I don't think, there in Denver. I'm going to go with Juju for the floor and hope that works out. He was a good enough player. He's your flex play.
Okay. I'm going to probably just leave Sutton in the flex and hope for the best here. If I didn't, I'm not big on Juju. I would probably hedge towards Jarvis Landry maybe, because Cleveland and Kansas City could be a high-scoring game. That would be probably my hedge. Andy's notes told me to talk about Juju, though, but now that I'm looking at the teams, I think Landry would be my second option if I hedge off the Sutton.
Fair.
So, and then we got
a
Friar.
Friar team now.
Sorry, Andy, you're screwing with this podcast notes, and it messed me up. Friar could play in the flex. He's looking at. I'm gonna throw Claypool in there with Chenault at wide receiver 2, because Chenault plays Houston, and we kind of talked about that earlier. Could be a big game there. So first, are you guys playing Claypool or Chenault at wide receiver 2?
Claypool.
I'm going to go Chenault.
If it's not Chark, it's Chenault in my mind. So I think Claypool has probably the higher upside. Just that Houston defense, man, makes me nervous that you can't not play Chenault. But Pittsburgh versus Buffalo could be a high scoring game too. So I'm going to go with Claypool ever so slightly there. Since I took Chark in the last one, he's taken away from Chenault. So that leaves us down into the flex with the one that you didn't choose, mixed with James Conner and Trace Sermon. I guess you could always throw in like a Marquez Callaway if you trust the Saints. Maybe number 1, maybe number 2, maybe number 3 wide receiver. We're not sure what's going to happen there. So Conner, Sermon, or your odd man out between Claypool and Chenault. Who are you playing in the flex?
Boyer.
So I would have Claypool, Sermon, or Conner as my choices. I'd play Claypool. Can't guarantee anything from Sermon. I don't really trust Conner except for being maybe a goal line back. So I'm going to go with Claypool and the upside that he brings.
Go ahead, Andy.
I've got James Conner. I think him being the goal line back for the Arizona Cardinals is a big deal. I think that there's probably a little bit more work in it for him than just the goal line back anyways. Sermon against Detroit, I don't know what that's going to look like. I imagine he's going to get some touches, but a rookie in his first game is, I mean, I'm not playing my rookie in my first game, and I like him a lot more than Trey Sermon. So that tells you that how I feel about it. And then Chenault against Houston, that could be, just a James Robinson game the whole time. So I'm going with James Conner.
I will say is that I'm biased against James Conner. I had him all last year and saw him plod his way to like a 3.5 yard per carry average.
A lot of that was the Steelers' offensive line.
I understand that, but he was plodding. He looked like he was running through molasses for half the year. So
well, that was the Steelers' offensive line.
I have a vendetta a little bit against James Conner, I think, at this point.
All right. Well, I'm actually going to take Trey Sermon here.
Shocked face.
49ers fan. That makes sense. Yep.
Well, all right. So let me give you the reasoning, not just because I'm a Niners fan, right?
I'm sure there's got to be something else.
With Mostert being hurt in the preseason, with Mostert dealing with injuries, I think Mostert starts the game as the one. the Niners go up by a couple scores and they pull Mostert. He's not going to play all game if they're winning. If they're winning, what do? They run the ball. Trey Sermon is the clear number 2, and I think they give him work. Why not break him in at least the second half plus some of the first half against a bad Detroit team?
I made the same argument about Javonte. How many touches do you think Sermon ends the game with, Ty?
14.
Okay, that's pretty steep.
I think what Shanahan's offense says, we're not going to run one guy into the ground. We're going to run multiple guys
into the ground.
And Sermon is, and Sermon is the clear number 2. They got rid of Gallman.
I agree.
Jeff Wilson's injured. Sermon's the guy. I think he gets that 12 to 15 touch range. I'm gonna give him 14 touches this week, which I think is a viable flex option.
Yeah, I mean, if you think he's going to get 14 touches, then absolutely I would play him. I've got him at 10, so I don't know that. I think the touchdown upside of Connor is more than enough to keep him ahead of Sermon this week for me.
All right. So there you go. Play whoever the hell you want.
Good luck.
Don't take our advice for it. So who do we have winning this week?
You're gonna make me start actually looking at players and teams and stuff.
I'll go first.
No.
I've got Friar winning. Brady Evans combo on Thursday night against the Dallas defense. Dalvin Cook against the Bengals. Mostert against that's the other thing is Friar is starting Mostert, so I don't know if you want to play both of them, but Mostert against the Lions I think is a big win for him too. So I've got Friar this week. That's true. Ty, you really like Friar's team.
I wasn't looking at his starters. I was looking at the guys we were talking about.
So I pick Friar.
All right, Boyer.
I'm going to go with Friar largely because I think Barkley and Swift, though they play, won't get the volume that you would need them to get to win.
Friar's playing against the duo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Friar and
Are you in week 5 too?
Yeah, a little bit. Sorry. I'm like multitasking here. It's tougher than it looks. Hey, look, Friar's playing the duo. It's definitely going to be Friar.
Smooth. Nice recovery.
Thanks.
Ty, who you got?
I have also got Friar winning this week.
It's a high quality first episode on the new channel, guys.
Yeah, well,
yeah, we brought a baby into this with being a dad.
Boyer bailed in the first 60 seconds.
All right. Andy, you want to jump into Boyer versus Charlie?
Yeah, sure. It can't get much worse. So Boyer's team is pretty well set up for him. He doesn't have a whole lot of decisions to make, but he does have a bit of a quarterback dilemma. Kirk Cousins at Cincinnati versus Jameis Winston at home. I think they're playing in Jacksonville against Green Bay. So Boyer will tell us which way he's leaning. I think if it's me, I'm going with Kirk Cousins, not because I'm worried about Jameis Winston. It's more because I'm far more worried about the lack of weapons. Like Jameis Winston's a decent quarterback when he doesn't turn the ball over too much to completely screw your fantasy day. But the last time that we saw Jameis Winston as a 5,000-yard passer was with Godwin and Evans and 2 good tight ends. And like he had a lot to work with and an offense that suited his sling it around, throw it down the field way of playing. And he doesn't have any of that anymore. He's got Marquez Callaway, which has looked good, but come on, that's a hell of a step down from Godwin and Evans. So I'm leaning towards Cousins simply because of the weapons there. Ty, what do you got?
I'll second that.
All right. Boyer, what are you doing? What are you thinking week 1?
I don't know.
Listen to these performance enhancing dads.
Right. I think logic probably dictates Cousins. I like Winston over the course of the season, but I'd like to see what he does against Green Bay. It'll be a tough enough game to really see what he's made of. And Cousins has a great matchup against a bad Bengals defense. So if I want the win this week, probably Cousins. But I do like Winston's upside. But we've been going floor in week 1 over upside. So I'm going to go with Cousins.
All right. Hold on. Boyer, the good thing about fantasy is you can see what Winston is made of while he's on your bench. Unlike an NFL team, if they bench him, they'll never know.
It doesn't work as well for them.
That's fair.
So the best thing is you still get to watch him play against Green Bay while Kirk Cousins actually starts.
Yeah, the thing here is like what do we think that game script is going to look like? Do we think the Saints defense is going to be good enough to keep Green Bay in check and keep this lower scoring? Or do we think that this could be a shootout like we normally would see Saints versus Green Bay?
Shootout, blowout, either way.
And so I don't know. To me, it's tough because I like the upside of Winston, but I agree with you both. Cousins is the safer play, and he'll most likely outperform his projected points against a bad Bengals team.
Fair enough. On the other side, Charlie's got some low-end wide receivers to decide on. He's got Tyler Boyd at wide receiver 2, Mecole Hardman in the flex, and then rookie Devonta Smith for Philly that's on his bench. So start 2 of those 3 between Boyd, Hardman, and Smith. I think I'm leaving it the way he's got it with Boyd against the Vikings and Hardman in that shootout that we keep mentioning with the Browns. I'm going that direction, but Hardman's a boom bust guy. He needs the bigger plays. Only going to get so many looks, but if it's a air it out, score 30 plus points kind of game, then I look for him to get his somewhere. So that's the way I feel. Boyer, what do you think?
The Browns defense is pretty good. And I mean, you expect a little bit of a shootout, but I'm not sure I'm expecting that. I think it'll be a little bit more of a slog than we think. And I don't really like Hardman a lot. But if I'm looking at his other options, I mean, I don't really trust Devonta Smith as a rookie in week 1. We just don't know where the volume is going to come from with the Eagles. Hurts could run it 800 times in that game. We don't really know. So I'm okay with Hardman in the flex. That's probably what I'd lean towards, but I don't really feel good about it.
I'm going to lean towards Devonta Smith. I've liked Hardman the last couple of years. He's done nothing. I think he's going to slowly start losing snaps to Pringle and whoever the hell else they have on that lineup. You think Hardman's going to play all year as the wide receiver too?
Yeah,
for sure.
No.
Wide receiver 1 when Tyreek goes down.
Just because I have him on my team. I'm playing Smith this week over Hardman. I just don't trust Hardman. Like Andy said, he could have a boom game, could be a bust game. He doesn't have anywhere in between, and I've liked him the last couple of years. I'm off of him now. I'm not sure he's the guy. So
fair enough. Ty, you got Boyer or Charlie winning this one?
I have Charlie winning this one. Sorry, Boyer. I just told you you're going to lose 2 games. One to Friar or one to Walker in a couple of weeks, and this one to Charlie.
I am going to side with Charlie based on his stud running backs. Or are you picking yourself?
I think this one's close enough that I can choose myself and be okay with it.
Fair. Take it when you can get it.
Right, exactly.
All right, you want to break down that last one for us?
I'm actually going to have Ty break down the last one. I'm struggling between screens here with the baby. So,
all right.
Fair enough.
So
go be a dad.
We have Paul and Robby. On the Paul and Robby matchup, you've got Paul looking at Debo or Chase Edmonds for his flex spot. I guess. I mean, we did talk about Marvin Jones Jr. a little bit, that he could be a solid play, maybe. I just don't think he's going to be the full-on guy in Jacksonville. So he's off my board. Kenyon Drake could be an option if something happens to Jacobs. I'm not sure why he's not on the field right now. But they're saying he should be back for the game, so I'm not worried about that yet. So really, it leaves you to Debo Samuel against Detroit or Chase Edmonds against Tennessee. Andy said Connor is going to be the goal line guy, probably going to get some extra work there. Edmonds will probably just be the pass catching back. That's how I see that backfield splitting out. I am very high on Debo this year. Just because he's been injured, he's a Niner. I've got to pick him, right? But if I am Paul, going with the safe floor with Chase Edmonds, I think has the better floor because he is the running back. He will get a 50-50 at minimum timeshare. I'm playing Edmonds in the flex. Andy, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going Edmonds too. I'm going to tip my hand here for 60 seconds from now, but Paul's going to win this matchup. Sorry, Robby. He's got McCaffrey against the Jets and Mahomes in that shootout that I'm projecting, which is going to be more than enough to carry him. So all you're looking to do with this pick is make sure that you lock in some sort of points so that you don't give back your advantage. And for me, that's Edmonds.
Yep. Boyer.
I said is that Connor was mostly the goal line back, and I didn't really trust him earlier, which means that I got to believe a little bit more in Edmonds. So I'm going to go with Edmonds.
All right. So that might be one of the first ones we've actually agreed on.
I don't like it. I'm changing my decision. I'm going to go in with Debo.
Yeah, okay. Check back with me next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So then we move over, and we got Robby. Robby currently has Jacobs as his RB2, Gaskin as his flex, and then he's got Damian Harris on the bench. So out of those three, which two are you guys playing? Boy, you want to start us on this one?
Yeah. Jacobs will get enough goal line work, regardless of what he thinks as far as conceding work to Kenyon Drake or whatever. I'm happy with Jacobs. I think this is between Gaskin and Damian Harris. I like Gaskin a lot, but I'm projecting the New England defense to be good this year. I think that they'll be tough. I think Damian Harris is the better play in the flex.
I agree. I think that the Patriots are built to run the ball. Getting Sony out of town means that Belichick is going to use Damian Harris at least a good chunk of the time. And I'm not as excited about Myles Gaskin. All these guys have kind of tough matchups, but I'm going Damian Harris, and I'm leaving Josh Jacobs in at RB2.
Okay. Boyer, tougher defense, New England or Miami?
New England.
Really?
I think I'd say Miami.
Okay. I'm also taking Miami, which does put a little damper on Damian Harris. But the reason I will choose Damian Harris is kind of like the same thing I talked about earlier with Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. That rookie quarterback, they want to work him in. And how do they do that? Short dump offs, hand off the ball, get him into NFL game speed. I think Damian Harris has a much bigger workload than projected this weekend, just for the sake that they don't want Mac Jones to be sacked multiple times. They don't want that pressure on Mac Jones week one. And with that, you pretty much you have two choices: dump the ball off quick, or give the ball to Damian Harris. Because Miami's defense is good, and I do think they will start putting pressure. The only way Damian Harris is not the start here is if for some reason Miami gets up real early in the game and New England has to try to play catch up, which I could also see happening because I like Miami's offense better than I like New England's offense. So I'm starting Damian Harris. It's a tough call.
It's one of the tougher ones.
Yeah. So.
Ty, who do you have in this one, and why is it Paul?
I have Robby losing.
Okay.
Because Paul's better.
Boyer, thoughts?
I have Paul winning because Robby is worse.
I have Paul winning because Christian McCaffrey and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, so all right. So you know what my real analysis is? I think Robby loses because I don't like his wide receivers.
We said that a lot last year too.
So there you go. I don't like Robby's receivers. If he has a top end wide receiver, I might consider it. But he's got two mediocre receivers in Thielen and Beckham. OBJ starting. Not high on either of them. So there you go. All right. So we're through the matchups. Andy is going to hit us with a new segment. We will call, because we are the performance enhancing dads, we are also funny dads that have some jokes. So Andy, hit them with it.
All right. So my uncle's recently divorced and he's in a band, and he started seeing this woman, Lorraine, and then shortly thereafter started seeing another woman, Claire Lee. Well, he'd been seeing Lorraine longer, but he was really starting to prefer Claire Lee. He wasn't really sure what to do, but he just kept on seeing both of them. And eventually, Lorraine found out about Claire Lee and left him. She was pretty upset. Well, my uncle was pretty happy about this because now he could be with his preferred woman without having any of the stress of having to choose or keep secrets. So he came skipping into band rehearsal the next day, practically singing, "I can see Claire Lee now. Lorraine is gone."
Nice. Oh, good old dad joke.
Jokes.
Wait, was that the punchline?
There was no punchline. It's a dad joke. When your palm hits your head, that's the punchline.
Dad joke.
Dad joke.
Dad joke.
Let's not hit more dad jokes. Let's hit some power rankings because we are performance enhancing and have lots of power over here. Andy, you want to hit us with it? Boyer, show me those twigs you got going. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, Andy, hit me with some power rankings.
All right. I'm going to hit them quick, and Boyer can put the graphic up. Maybe he can even do a big graphic, and it can be over all of our faces so people can, not throw up.
Boyer's going to put it up, or our editor is going to put it up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a secret? The editor.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Paul, Tyler, Jeremy, Andy, Friar, Collin, Chris, Charlie, Duo, Robby, Boyer, Walker. These are my rankings. Feel free to argue.
Andy, can I just ask you a question, man?
Sure.
Can you rerun through those top 5 or 6?
You just wanted to hear your name second?
Just real quick. Go ahead.
All right. Paul, Ty, Jeremy, Andy, Friar.
Oh, you can stop.
I can stop there.
All right. Paul, Tyler, Jeremy. I have Friar over Andy. The 4 bottom teams in the league are currently leading Andy's power rankings.
It's funny how a lot of money and good keepers can do that for you.
It's also funny how they're only good before the games get played.
Hey, how do you feel about this going into the season now?
I'm top half. I have plenty to work with on my end. And I've got Robby and Boyer at 10 and 11, and they're in my division. So Friar's my competition, and that doesn't bother me.
So it's not as bad for you, but the whole league should feel bad that the bottom 4 guys are in the top of the power rankings currently.
Yeah, I mean, Boyer makes a good point. When you sell your team because you suck, then you have more to suck with next year.
I've always found my team top half and then just slowly tanking throughout the year anyway. But I'm impressed I'm at 2. I'm impressed Paul and Jeremy are up there with me. Guys, Paul, Jeremy, Friar, we're getting out of the bottom slowly. All right, we're getting there. We're starting this year. Except for Paul, you suck.
Good luck, fellas.
Feel free to argue these power rankings to us. I would love to hear your power rankings on how awesome the bottom 4 are.
In the comments and things with the
Yeah.
likes and the subscribe.
New channel, like, subscribe,
Super
hit
subscribe. You have
the notification thing.
You have to resubscribe now. You can unsubscribe from Off the Wall, except don't do that either because that's still kind of my channel.
You don't
Subscribe to this one. So we pretend like we're okay.
That's right. We are the PEDs now, not Off the Wall Sports.
Right.
Subscribe, like, comment, do what you got to do. Just love our content because we're fun having people. I think.
That's true.
I think. All right.
I have
on
fun.
that note, I semi like you guys. We're starting a new channel, turning a new leaf. Until you guys make me hate you when you don't comment, like, subscribe. Currently, I like you. So we'll see you guys. Good luck with the season. We're out.